Where I am right now is Religious Street. Attention all poets. A lot of streets are like that in New Orleans. And as you can see, where I'm standing right now, sort of a vacant lot. I don't actually know if this was also vacant in 2005. But the reason this is an important spot is because of a photograph that was taken here on September 1st, 2005. A photograph that was taken that the police wish had not been taken, and the dogged efforts of a newspaper editor here in New Orleans who for 5 years would not allow what he saw here and what was photographed here to be forgotten. Take a look at this picture. Let's, if we can we drop all of the graphics and everything off the screen so you can just see it full size as it gets? This picture was taken on September 1st, 2005, 3 days into Katrina. There are about 10 policemen visible in the photo, Crescent City Connection Bridge visible in the background, and in the lower right-hand quadrant, a man who appears to be dead on the ground. He is contorted, his shirt appears bloody, his arm is cantilevered behind him very awkwardly. The scene was reported on at the time in the Times-Picayune newspaper as follows, quote, near the former St. Thomas housing development, a squadron of police, some in tactical gear, were clustered in an intersection. A regional transit authority bus was nearby, and a man who appeared to be dead from a gunshot wound lay on the ground. The Times-Picayune editor who wrote that stumbled onto that scene with a freelance photographer named Marco Georgiev. Marco Georgiev took the picture I just showed you, as well as this second one from a slightly different angle, and from which you can guess what's about to happen next. The police are coming after the photographer, who they now realize has been taking pictures of them. The editor and the photographer say they were both assaulted by the police soon after that picture was taken. They say police drew guns on them. The police took one of the photographer's cameras and ripped the memory card out of it and took that away. He lost that day's work, except for these two images, which, as luck would have it, were in a different camera that the police didn't notice. Another photographer on the scene, who key witnesses say shot more photos and shot what happened to that man, seen lying apparently dead there on the ground. Another photographer from the Toronto Star also says he was assaulted by police, who then did succeed in stealing all of his memory cards, so those images that he took are lost. But the newspaper editor from the Times-Picayune, Gordon Russell, says he never forgot what he saw that day. As years went on and we started to learn more about multiple police shootings of civilians in the aftermath of Katrina, that man lying there on Religious Street, surrounded by 10 police officers, never turned up in any of the reports. There was no official record of the incident. Could that man be yet another lost to the chaos, shot civilian with no real record of his death and no justice? Nearly 5 years on, the editor wrote about it again. The paper published Georgiev's photos. He talked to the one police officer who he knows was there at the scene, who would talk to him about it. He pieced together all of the information he could about police action in that area on that day. He realized that in that haunting photo, there was a red lump near the tire of the vehicle on the right that was actually another crumpled man, what seemed to be another body. The editor didn't let it go. He kept investigating. There were no records of bodies collected that seemed to match these circumstances. There was no arrest record for any suspects there. There was, in fact, no police record of any kind of what happened. There were just those two pictures and a nagging memory and a refusal to forget the incident. And it turns out that the men in the photo were not dead. They were apparently beaten to a bloody pulp by police officers that day. One of them, the man in the red shirt, Robert Williams, says all his teeth were knocked out that day, and he still has none to show for it. But he survived, as did the man in the white shirt, who was reported in the Times-Picayune as appearing to be dead. His name is Ernest Bell. He survived. What it seems like happened is that the men were detained on suspicion of shooting at police, but the men didn't have any weapons. Police certainly did not arrest them, and after beating the hell out of them, they left them on the street after trying to make sure that no photographs of the scene survived. Katrina was chaos. Policing after Katrina was hell on earth. But the record of something horribly wrong happening to these two Americans could not be expunged and wouldn't be forgotten. The Justice Department is now investigating the incident 5 years on. Like all of Katrina, it's part of the unfinished business of documenting what happened, showing it, not letting it be forgotten, and trying to make it right. I'll be right back.